Hello?
Okay, so I can hear you, so I'm guessing you can hear me.
Yes.
Awesome. Sorry, we are a bit late. We had some microphone issues. We couldn't hear each other. Hello, Remy. I don't know if you're here. Hello, Melissa. Hello, Macy.
Hello.
Is Marilyn here? Marilyn, have you gotten rid of your nasturtium yet? Or rabbits love them. Might be a tasty treat. I've never tried giving my nasturtium to my little rabbits. Now I have to try. No, I have a tendency of ripping the plant and just leaving it there so that the seeds germinates next year instead of me starting so much nasturtium every year. Hello, Remy. I wasn't sure if you were there because you were the first to put a comment 45 minutes earlier than the live.
Right. I guess he was first.
Yes. Hello, Dave.
Football too.
Football. Oh, it's true. It's going to be soon the end of the season of football.
Well, isn't it just the beginning of football?
Well, usually the Super Bowl is just before the snow, like November, around there.
Yes.
Sometimes it depending where the Super Bowl is, there was actually some years that actually snowed.
I remember that.
Was working on my video from last week. Then I heard you two speaking. Oh, kind of switched your program. Well, you were missed, but I'm sure the time off and the time away to unwind and be in the nature was a positive thing. I got the book Beyond the Pellet. Excellent resources. I don't know what that is. What's Beyond the Pellet?
Maybe for chickens, like beyond just feeding them pellets. That's what I'm assuming. Because or maybe rabbits, because she was talking about giving the nasturtium to rabbits, right? Yeah.
Okay, so actually, NFL is just starting. Okay, so you were right. I was wrong. Endings. The CFL is ending soon, and the NFL is okay. So I was half right. Is the barn the studio, Angie?
Yes, I'm in. Well, this is what Mike and I did today, so might as well sit in front of the hard work.
Of course.
Right? He's inside talking to some buddies on his computer, so I figured I'd come out here. It's quieter anyways.
Super Bowl is first Sunday of February. My bad. Tells you how often I watch it. For rabbits. Okay, so the book, you were right. She's talking about the pellets of the rabbits. Hope your finger's doing better. And Maggie.
Maggie's doing wonderful. Maggie is full of energy, full of life, full of jumping and playing. She's actually shocked Mike and I and the vets and the technicians, because basically what her operation was, the bones have an end and then they're rounded. So the part that goes into the hip socket, they actually removed it completely. And so nothing was there to replace it. And so over time, inside her hip socket, it develops a hard fiber, I guess, and it kind of replaces it, but that takes time. And so she started shocking them, like the vet techs and stuff, when she'd go in. I think it was 3 weeks post-op, maybe 4 weeks, when she had her aqua therapy. And they didn't expect her to even be walking on it, and she was walking. And now it's been about another, I'm going to say 6 weeks, maybe 7. And she's standing up on hind legs. She doesn't really want to move it too much if she's up on her hind legs, but she's doing wonderful. So expecting a full recovery, obviously, with a part of her bone missing, but she's doing great. So
I'm guessing because of her young age, it helps also.
Yeah, for sure. I think she's a little bit shorter in that leg too. So she kind of tiptoes on it, but she runs full speed. She does everything like she used to. She does have some days where it bothers her a bit more, but yeah, she's doing really good. So that is a good thing.
It's awesome. Well, obviously when she gets older, she might have some pain.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we
Uh,
get to there, because she'll be a year in November.
oh,
So
so she still has at least 10 good years in front of her.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you can worry then.
Worry about it then, right.
In 10 years. Like, you have no idea what, like, the human body is so nicely made sometimes. Like, she can actually thrive until she's of old age. So,
I'm actually happy we went with this procedure because it's odd because our first dog, the little guy, his name's Bubba, he fell downstairs when he was a puppy and he broke his leg kind of in the same predicament. And so he is now, he'll be 17 in December. But with his procedure, he actually had the bones fused back together and they never fused properly. So he's way worse than she is. And when she got the surgery, they thought because she's a large dog, she would have trouble with it a little bit at first in the beginning. And so that's one of the reasons why they shocked her so, like she shocked the vet techs and stuff so much because they weren't expecting her to walk on it. Whereas the little guy, he has always had issues. He could have actually got it amputated because he always just picks it up and walks 3 legs anyways. But so she's done a lot better than he has. And he's just like a 20-pound dog. So
awesome. Well, if a viewer right now has no idea who Maggie is, it's the newest addition, right?
Yeah.
To your homestead, and sadly she was involved in a hit and run, and you said that it was a bone that was fractured, right?
They completely broke the ball part off of her that goes into the hip socket. They
Okay.
completely broke it off her femur. And so they just took it out and they left it. They cleaned up the bone that was in there and they took the ball.
And I'm guessing she still has to go through therapy and vet checkups and stuff like that.
She's not doing so much therapy right now. We do therapy with her at home, slow walks so that she gets used to building that back muscle. She lost almost all of her muscle. She lost in her back leg. So that's what we're doing at home is trying to walk her more, exercise it, get her up on her hind legs, walk a little bit. So yeah, but she's doing really good.
Well, I know that the situation is disgusting because it was a hit and run, but I'm super happy that there is positive outcome from all of this.
Yes.
Because it's devastating when one of your animals suffers and you're powerless.
Yeah.
And
sorry, go ahead.
Vets are super expensive and it's never guaranteed.
Yeah. That was, I think the hardest part for us was finding the vet because it's a certain kind of surgeon that has to do it. And so finding the vet and then calling vets and saying, they said to us, well, we can't get anybody in until, 8 weeks from now or what. So we lucked out and found a vet that is about an hour away. And it was about a week and a half since the time she was hit. So the first vet gave us pain meds and we were able to keep her on those pain meds for, the 10 days that she had to wait for surgery, but they just happened to have an opening. So it was
someone was watching over all of you.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. So you were on the channel, I think early spring. You were talking about your cabin and off grid going on grid. And then we all jumped headfirst into our season and we kind of stopped connecting, stopped having so much time. And so much has happened to you and Mike over the summer. Yeah. So what happened with the cabin?
The cabin, Mike and I actually, we just came to this decision probably about a month ago. We are staying in the barn for another winter and we are going to rough it out. So we're kind of in the middle of cozying the barn up. So it's a lot better living space than it was last year. And as far as the house goes, basically in a nutshell, there was no more fundage. And so we had to, between that and going hard constantly, we had to take a step back and say, let's be realistic. What can we do? And so we're still working on it. We got the floor poured, which that's our next video, which should be out next week. Oh, did I pause? Oh, am I frozen or is Annie frozen? Uh-oh.
Oh,
is it me that froze or you?
No, it's me, because
Oh.
I think my kids are on Netflix. So okay, we're back. We're here. So if it happens a second time, I'm just gonna go downstairs and see. Oh, okay. So is everyone seeing us? Just to make sure.
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah.
Angie needs to catch. Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a message from Remy. He needs to catch up.
Yeah.
Both of you look like fall hit with cooler temps. They for sure have. Yes.
I actually love this weather. This weather is...
It changed super fast here. I went to visit Annie from Mama Homemade, and I saw that she's about 2 hours away from me on the South Shore of Montreal, and I was seeing some differences at her place. And then it's been 2 weeks now, and now I'm driving around and I'm seeing it everywhere. So yes, fall is here, and cozy, comfortable scarves are starting to get out. I have to find, I'm not sure I'm saying it right. Flannel?
Flannel?
Flannel. I have to find, your shirt is flannel, right?
Yes.
I have to find some, because they keep you warm, and you can put like a short sleeve shirt under and then that on top. I can't seem to find cute ones for women. I'm going thrift shopping tomorrow. I'm hoping to find some.
Mike got me this in the States. It's like goes down to the knees, so it's almost like, I feel like they're pajamas, but they're not.
Even your butt cheeks are gonna be warm.
But yeah,
everything important is kept warm.
Pretty much.
So before we got cut off, you said you poured your floor in the cabin.
Yes.
And then you also passed piping.
Yeah, so we did all of the plumbing, and we brought in a professional for that, because that's something that once the concrete's buried, we can't access. And so we had pressure tests that were run prior to the pour, and then the pour came. That happened probably about 3-4 weeks ago, so that's how behind I am. Yeah, so between everything, because we had all these plans, right? And everything starting from the storm that we had in May, just we had to let go of the garden and say, this is just too much for us. And then, from one thing after another, we decided, what, let's prep to stay in the winter and in the barn in the winter, and we're going to work on the house over the winter. So that's where we're at right now, and we're every day we're working really, really hard, not necessarily on the house, but a lot of other things too. So
right now in the cabin, you found all your windows, but they're not installed.
No. Yes, but no, we thought we found, and then we had to change the size of the 2 front windows.
Okay.
So we sold the windows that we originally purchased, and now we're looking for a foot shorter windows because they were a little bit too tall. Yeah.
Okay. And you didn't find your doors?
No, we're still looking for the doors. We have come across a lot, but they're not exactly what we want. So because we decided to, what, let's just take our time with things. We're not going to settle for anything other than what we want. So the upstairs windows are what we could get. And now that we're taking our time, because we were trying to rush to get in for the winter, right?
Yeah,
and
understandable, because you guys wanted to be closed in and sleep inside the house.
Yes, but we made the tough choice, about a month ago, and we're just like, you know what? Let's, instead of trying to rush, because we tend to just go with the flow and do whatever, comes our way. And this time we're preparing a lot better. We're planning a lot more. Last winter we had to go every 2 weeks to go get wood from someone else. So now we've ordered a tandem load. We've got probably about 3 months worth of wood that we took care of today. And so
Nice.
we're planning a lot better and learning that it's a lot better to do so.
Yeah. So as a quick resume, after you were on the live in, I think it was in March or in April, I can't remember. You guys were hit by a storm
Yes, in May.
and it delayed you on so many level. You lost hydro.
Yep, for 10 days.
And did you have water? I can't remember.
Yeah, we always, our water's an artesian well, so we always have access even without power.
Okay.
We always have access to overfillage of water, so we always have water, so that's not a worry.
So your water was not contaminated.
No.
Okay. And you were without power for a couple of weeks.
10 days, yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Thank God it was in May.
I know. And so now we had gas. We had probably about 3 jerry cans of gas, but we had to actually have neighbors bring us gas because the trees came down onto our hydro line. And so we couldn't get out for quite some time. And then we were able to get out, but we still didn't have power for, I think, 4 or 5 days after that.
And gas prices were skyrocketing at the time.
Yep.
Everything to help you guys.
Yeah. So that's where like the
tipping
domino
point
effect started,
Yeah.
right? Because before the storm, we were like cleaning up, preparing for the garden area. We had cleared so many trees out, and then the storm came and just knocked all the trees that we had to clear out anyways. So we had so many trees down that we had to clear. Some of them were dangerous because they were like stuck in other trees. So that took up another at least 2 weeks of cleaning up, getting, making sure everything was taken care of. And so now we're into June, and that's when we're like, okay, I guess the garden is not going to get done this year. And so that happened. And then after that, it was, I think, my hand.
No, you had your in-laws came. You had a baby shower.
Oh yeah, we went down.
Someone graduated also.
Yeah, my Tyler and Parker's mom graduated nursing school. I forgot about all this. So we had to go down for that. And then our baby of the family, Autumn, and her fiance came up, and they were here for a week. And so, yeah, we had a baby shower for them. And that baby was born at the end of August. So we have a new grandson.
That was a boy, right?
Yes, Mr. Miles. So he is three, almost 4 weeks old now. And so
that was your month. That was your month of July. You had so many family gatherings and
a family reunion as well. Yep. So we had all of this stuff, and then I started work in July too. So
it's like right after all your family gatherings, that's where you hurt your hand. Just before you started working.
About 2 weeks before I started working. Yeah. I started working July 18th. And I think it was just about 2 weeks until my hand, I crushed it in a log splitter, which I'm still like, it's basically a finger that doesn't do anything. So, and it's causing a lot more pain now than it did when I did it. So, I have another appointment in October. So hopefully it gets sorted out. But that happened. Then Maggie got hit by a car. It's like, this is our year. But you know what? When Mike and I decided to stay in the barn for the winter, there was a lot of pressure. And it was like, everything, I truly believe everything happens for a reason. Sometimes we don't understand that reason. Sometimes it's obvious. But yeah, I think all of it was a sign for me and Mike to slow down a little bit and, realize that you have to prepare as best as you can for certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So it was all for something. But sometimes when we're going through it, we don't realize, how do I want to say that? When we're going through, I don't know how to say it, what I'm thinking. When you're going through something, sometimes you don't realize all the pressures, all these little things and big. There's a lot of big things that happen, but you don't realize how much pressure it puts on you until one day you're like, man, when you're talking, like when I'm talking here and I'm like, oh, wow, it sounds like a lot. But at the time, you kind of just, I don't know, you kind of just go with the flow.
You run with the punches.
Yeah.
As a homesteader, I had COVID and I was still tending my plants. I felt like shit, probably looked like shit, but like I was like doing bare minimum on my plants, and like I had to open and close my tunnel because I had plants in them, and if I didn't open the tunnel in the morning, they would burn in the afternoon. So you have to run with the punches.
Yeah.
And
I
like
can only punch with this hand now, but
it's like only half a punch.
like this is what my finger wants to do. It just stays there. And I don't know, from here to here, like I could still move here. But from here to here, there's nothing but
Please
pain.
tell me you're a right-handed person.
I am.
Oof.
Yeah. So yeah. And I tried to get everything done before I started work. So I went back to the ER twice. I went to my family doctor 3 hours away twice in a week because I saw him for a second opinion. And then he thought it was getting infected. So he wanted to see me back before he went on holidays. So we had to drive back to 3 hours away. And then I've gotten 2 x-rays done on it. So I'm kind of like, so I've had 2 x-rays, 2 hospital visits, 1 surgeon appointment, 2 family doctor appointment, 3 physical therapy appointments. And time, all they need to do is take like a bone scan to see, because now my occupational therapist thinks that I've either torn or damaged my ligament that holds the knuckle in place. And so that's why like I can't make a fist at all. And
So that would mean a surgery.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, if they had just taken the time, I'm not a doctor and I don't want to knock them, but in my opinion, if they had just taken the time to do the bone scan initially, I mean, it wasn't like I closed a car door on it. I crushed it and the log started splitting. So because they didn't see any broken bones, they figured everything was okay. So
Well,
now,
there's always so much more. There's always
yes,
so much
yeah.
more.
And so I'm like,
Especially with fingers and toes. Especially
yes,
with fingers and toes.
yeah. So when I go back on October 4th. I'm gonna be like, look, my friends tease me now because when I go to point, I can't point. So they're all like, okay, who are you pointing to? You pointing to the girl over there, or, So I'm gonna have to, I guess, stand up a little bit and say, no, something more is happening. But
You have to show 1 teeth. I know fall means the garden is starting to get empty. It is the time of the year. Thanks for sharing the
thank you.
YouTube channel. I have a tigre géant close to my house. Now I might have to go. But
They
first,
do have some, yeah.
I'm going to go thrift shopping tomorrow. It's on my list. Like when I go thrift shopping, I go for those big stainless steel bowls.
Yep.
Because chopping little bowls is not fun, because like you end up like dirtying like 20 of them.
Yeah.
When you can only dirty 1.
Yeah.
So I'm checking that, and then those shirts, and then what else do I have on my list? Lodge cast iron.
Yep.
If I'm lucky enough. Like I have like a top 10 stuff. Gloves for the kids, because instead of paying $20 or $10 a pair of gloves, my son goes through 5 pairs. And my other son will probably go through like 4 or 5 pairs also, because they're so delicate, boys. So if I can find a couple of pairs there, that's not too bad looking, I'm going to grab those. Yeah. So I have like a list. Thrift shopping.
I have some too. I have one good one near me, and they have some pretty, like I found some things where I'm like, this looks expensive or old, and I'll Google it or something in the store. And some of the things I've come up with is pretty cool. It's really neat. And they sell them for so cheap. I love this store. It's in Bancroft, Ontario. So
That's fun. Remy says if you want squash, he can ship you squash. Dave says, still got peanuts in the garden, closed up sides of the greenhouse. Glad I did. Yeah, I did that this weekend. I forgot to say what I did this week. My greenhouse isn't warm enough. Angie, I got a deal for you and Mike next year at the conference. I'll go a day earlier than this year. I'll give you a full day of work help in exchange for a place to sleep in the barn.
I'll even cook dinner.
Lasagna!
Yeah, the barn, ever since we got the doors in, the barn, I mean, I'm quite a ways away from the fire, but I'm like, whew, I can see I'm all red in the face. It is warm in here now. So very, very, very happy about that. But we can actually sleep in the barn if we wanted.
So you guys made some changes on the barn so that you guys can be comfier. You no longer have that orange tarp. You have garage doors.
We have 2 garage doors that were installed. Mike's hung some lights up above us that make it really cozy. We've got it's kind of messy right now, but we're in the process of trying to make it more like, if people come over, we don't have to go in the trailer. It's cozier out here. We laid some, it's actually garden fabric on the ground because the dust was just killing us. Like we would dust and 10 minutes later, the entire trailer had to be dusted again.
Okay.
And so we laid down some stuff to minimize that. We still get some, but Mike bought me a washer. And so now
nice.
That's another thing because I work 5 days a week. Mike's away from the home 5 days a week now. And I don't have access to another vehicle. So the only time we could do stuff around the house together is on the weekend. But we take a day to relax, to unwind. And then Sunday's our work day. And so now we don't have to worry about leaving the house to go do laundry at a laundromat. We can actually do it here during the week. And then we can focus on big stuff on Sundays.
So you guys are sleeping in the trailer, but you're creating a living area in the barn.
Yeah.
So you're still cooking inside the trailer and all of that.
We try to cook a lot on the wood stove, so we're trying to do that.
Oh, cool.
We do cook inside too, yeah, but we're just making it more like added.
Cozier.
Yeah.
Cozier.
Yeah, because last year, I remember when we had the goats inside the barn, it was like a barn and it was cold in here. And now with, it being more of a living space and then the garage doors are in, it's just warmer, cozier. And I'm out here, he's inside, and we can have separate spaces now.
Nice. Okay, so you did say that you have a job. So you two felt the need that, well, actually, I'm going to go. You said Mike was going back to school full time.
Yes.
In September, and you started a job in July. So you two felt that it was a calling, you work and Mike being back at school?
Yeah, with Mike's shoulder, he can't do the work that he used to do. So he had an opportunity. It's a program through Ontario. It used to be called Second Career. I can't remember I think it's called Better Jobs Ontario now. And he qualified for it because of his shoulder. And so he's basically taking a 2-year program condensed into 1 year. He's going for computer tech. So he'll be, he could do IT and basic stuff. And then he can always advance if he wants. But yeah, so they're helping him with the school, and he's gone Monday to Friday, and the school is an hour and 10 minutes away. And then with basically my dream job and at home. So I don't have to worry about going to work really.
So you're fully 100% working from home.
Yes. The company I work for is actually in Quebec. And so I'm glad I don't have to travel.
I'm good.
Once in a while, I might have to go. I actually, I work at Darren's company. So
I kind of did 1+1. You did mention it was in Quebec, and I did remember Darren posting, and
yeah.
you two kind of chatted. So I kind of like I am doing the 1+1, and I didn't want to say it because I didn't know if you were comfortable enough.
Yeah, no, I asked him and if it was okay if I had said it a while ago. And yeah, no, great company. Can't complain. And I get to work fully from home. So
And that's going to help you guys ease the stress of the finances.
100%. Yeah. And
And
then
you're
when my
and also when Mike is done, another income.
yeah, yes.
So you took like 5 step back so that you guys can actually thrive in a year or so.
Yeah. So for the next, I'm gonna say, well, our goal, if nothing major happens, our goal is that the house will be done by end of next summer.
I do hope
And
that nothing bigger happens.
but this is more of a realistic goal because again on weekends we're able to go into the cabin. We have all the material for the walls, and so we just had to get that floor. The floor being poured was a huge, we had to wait, we couldn't do this, we had to call a plumber, then that plumber dropped us because he went to a wrong address. Then we had to call another plumber and they're like booked for quite a while, so we had to wait, and the plumbing was something we didn't want to mess with. And so we had to wait a lot for the plumber. And then once that plumbing was done, then we could pour. So everything was based on the floor pour. And so now that that's done, and now we're on more of a routine, walls and stuff will be getting built soon. So,
So technically, if everything goes well next winter, you should be in.
yes. Yeah.
So
We're still waiting on our stove. That's another thing too. I messaged the person for our stove because we should have had it in July, and they said that they were behind a little bit. They
a
were waiting.
little bit. So we're in September.
And
That's kind of
so
medium.
yeah, so and everything, it just, with everything being, they were waiting on for certain material. We had to be realistic. Of course, we want to be in there now,
Of course.
with everything being okay, no, we can't do it right now, or this set us back 2 weeks, or we couldn't get a plumber, or whatever. Everything set us back. And so instead of fighting it, we joined it. We're like, okay, well then we'll take our times for the windows and doors then. We'll take our time for, things that we really, really want instead of just trying to get it done, right?
How
And
did you
so
feel when you had to make those decisions? Like at first, I'm sure there was many mixed emotions of negative and positive.
when we finally made the decision, every ounce of stress went away.
I'm
It
sure
was,
the environment between you two was like softer and
yeah, like
less stressful.
Mike and I work, like, the good thing about us is that he knows who I am and I know who he is. And so if he's stressed out, I know when I gotta kind of, pick up stuff and or talk with him. And so we tend to work really well with that way. And so we finally just both sat down and we had our own pressures that, I could see Mike was going through stuff. And so I didn't want to necessarily give it to him and talk to him because he was going through his own thing, and vice versa. And then finally we just sat down and talked, let everything all out. And then we're like, you know what? Why are we happy talking about being slower? maybe we should. And so we did. And it's been amazing. Like, as far as the stress level, it's like, yeah, okay, it'll get done next year. What's one more winter in the barn? We're better prepared this year.
Yeah, well, I think like I am the first to talk about letting go after your video of the storm and you letting go of your garden, which was your dream garden.
Mhm.
And all summer long, I had to let go of so many things. And like prices of everything is going up.
Yeah.
And like I don't have the ability or the possibility to just, oh, it's okay, we're just gonna spend more money. I can't. Like if
No.
there's this much amount in the budget, well then
Yeah.
I can't do it. So we started my office this summer and we had to stop.
Mhm.
So and then we started doing some other stuff and then we had to stop. And
Yeah.
then like we said, so, and then I was like always like, but I was always like trying, like pushing. And then we ended up saying, it makes no sense. Like the only thing we're doing is just we're making it worse. And
Yeah.
some of the stuff, like we tried to make it work. And then when we looked at it, we're like, ugh, like we've pushed so much because we wanted it done, because we wanted it now. It just made it worse.
Yes.
So, and
That's
then
where we were. Totally. Because we wanted it done now. We're tired of living in the barn. We're tired of living in dust. We're tired of not having a finished home. We're tired of it. And so we're fighting against all these disappointments, all these things that get in the way. And it's like, why? Why? You know, if I get it done this year and I get to move in, I'm not going to be happy because we're not going to have the things that we want. And
no.
so if we're only trying to beat the deadline for selfish reasons, then we're just going to end up with something we don't want.
Or worse, like you're installing windows you hate, and then down the road you have to remove those windows and then reinstall those windows.
And that's what Mike doesn't recognize about us. So he's like, well, if we just get like, you know, because I really want black windows. And so they're hard to come by right now, which is why we don't have them. But he's like, well, we can just paint them. Well, yes and no. So with black windows, they are built with an extra pane or something, I don't know the technical terms, to withstand the heat. So if you take white windows and put black paint on them, you have to make sure that those windows are covered from the sun or don't get full sun, because if you don't, then they're going to warp. The paint's going to, you know, warp the windows because it gets so much heat from the sun.
But then you're going to have to repaint them ever so often years.
That, and then also if they warp, you know, now you're going to probably need new windows. And that does happen over time. But I'm like, you know, there's some windows you can paint, and I do have all the stuff for that. So I will be painting some of the windows, but they're not getting all day sun.
Okay.
So the front windows will get about 70% sun, which they would have warped. And so, you know, I'm like, nope, I'm not getting white windows. I'm going to get black windows. At least the front of the house is going to look like my dream. The sides of the cabin upstairs, they have 2 different color windows. I'm fine with that because when you pull in, you'll see my black windows, and that's all that matters. But yeah.
Remy, you did not see me when I had that virus. I really, I was like purple green. My eyes were like so tiny, and like I had bags like up till my knees. But thank you. You're so sweet. I'm not sure if you're a hunter.
Nope, it's not.
So what, you crushed it with a door? No, she crushed it on a wood splitter.
Yeah.
Hello, White Family Farm. I forgot your first name. I'm so sorry. I think it's Courtney, right? I'm behind on comments. Yep. Okay, let me just catch up a little bit. You did not have your little off-grid washer?
No, that finally kicked the bucket. It was, I think I had it for about 4 or 5 years. And it finally just stopped working. I loved that thing, and I went to go buy that first before Mike got me a full size. It's a used one. But the prices of that washer, I paid 99 American for it way back when, 4 or 5 years ago. And it's now like $300. And to get it into Canada, it was like $400. And I'm like, if I'm going to spend $300 or $400, it's going to be on a full size washer. So
I was going to say that because like just a couple of more dollars, you're going to get like a cheaper model of a washer.
Yeah. Well, we got this one. I think he paid $225 for it. It's used, but has everything I need. So
you have a follower on Black Windows.
yes.
Mate. Sorry, I'm having a problem with my mouse. Okay. Sometimes letting go of things that are stressing you is the best.
Yep.
The stress can cause so many health issues. True.
Yeah. And then, you know, you have this too. I think a lot of our push too, not a lot of it, but there was some drive there because we're like, okay, you know, there's a lot of people that are on our channel for the cabin journey. And so you don't, when there's nothing going on, you don't want to post something. So there was that guilt too. And so then I'm like,
The guilt, yes.
yeah, like, okay, everyone's following, well, not everyone, but a lot of people are following us for the cabin journey, and we haven't posted anything in a while. And then, you know, or we're not, like last year we got the barn built and the shell of the house up, and what'd we do over the summer? So we had that guilt. And then when we said, you know what, who cares? It's our life. It's real. It's, you know,
It's raw, uncut, real life.
yeah.
It's
But
not.
now I I want to start doing at least one video a week. I had to figure out my schedule. The job I have, although it's amazing, it's a lot to learn. I'm still not. They told me it would take a year to learn, and so yeah, it's a lot. And so I a lot of my time went to that. So but now that I'm a little bit more used to my routine, the schedule, knowing when I can edit, things like that, I want to start putting out at least one video a week. And that hopefully will start next week.
You also had to make a very difficult decision. After the storm, I remember you chatting about the issues you had with your goats.
Yes.
And then you started selling some of your goats in hopes of you fixing the issues of your stubborn goats, but then you had to make a hard
Yes.
decision.
Yeah. So we let go of June and her baby, one of her babies, and then we sold the brother, and we went down to 5 goats. And so what now basically we've sold all the goats. That was really, really tough for me because I've fought for them, all of them, for a very long time, because Mike is like, we gotta, you know, settle down or slow down. And he's like, the goats, they're a lot. And they are and they aren't. So in my mind, I was like, well, what? We go out and we feed them twice a day. What's so hard about that? Mike didn't care about that. Mike cared about, you know, like the goats actually started crossing the road. And I'm like, and then Maggie got hit by a car. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, no, we can't deal with that. And we don't have the time to build them a proper structure right now.
Yeah.
And the thing that pushed me was they did great over the winter, but they could have done better. And so thinking about overwintering them again was really, really tough for me. And so I made the choice to let the other 5 go. They all went together. And it was a family that actually got the rest of the goats. It was kids and grandparents and parents that came to pick them up. And so they're doing wonderful. And yeah, so we are goatless right now, and we are not going to get any more animals until we have proper homes set up for them.
Don't you have a turkey?
No, not no more.
Oh no. Did he disappear?
For a while, but then we found him. Her. Yeah.
You found her in one piece or many pieces?
She was in one piece. We don't know what happened. We don't know if she died naturally or if she was attacked. We're not sure, because by the time we found her, she was kind of
Halfway
gone. Yeah.
Oh.
So she could have died of natural causes. She tended to do that, though, especially near, like, I guess times when she would go broody. She would just go. You might see her once every, you know, week or so. She'd always eat her food, and then yeah. So she went. Well, it was before we sold the goats, but yeah.
So you're animal-less. It's just you two.
Other than the dogs and the cats, yeah.
The dogs and the cats. You have cats.
But the cats, the dogs, we love them all. We will probably never be without a dog. But the cats, they've become my favorite. They are like cheap to feed. They, you know, they definitely to make their keep and take care of mice. And I didn't know how many moles or voles we had, but they killed them all. So they are definitely worth their weight in gold. But yeah. I think Mike and I also talked about this. We do definitely want to get chickens again. It's not going to be until we're properly set up for them, because obviously on this property, the fox just got them all. And so before we get back into like goats or any other animals other than chickens, we're going to try the, because if Mike finds a deer and hunts a deer once a year or two or something, then we don't have to keep that animal and we don't have to feed that animal.
Mm-hmm.
And so we thought maybe we'll try with the deer once a year. Chickens we have the eggs. The only thing I'll miss from the goats, if we decide not to get any more, is their milk, which I absolutely loved. So yeah, we're gonna think about goats or something else a year
Further
to 2
down the
years
line, yeah.
down the line. Yeah,
Yeah,
we're not sure where we are with that yet. We do definitely miss them. I miss, like, there's been a couple times I'll go out and I'll be like, it's so quiet. Oh, the goats aren't here, and I miss them. I do.
I'm
But
sure it must have been a hard decision.
it was. But then winter and them crossing the road and we don't
Yeah.
have time to build stuff. So we're like, you know what? Let's just slow down
Well,
there.
since it's just you two building a chicken coop that's like fox proof and giving them 3 square feet or 5 square feet per bird, and you have 3 birds.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can just design it into a way that you can make it bigger further down the road.
Yeah.
You can do that within a weekend.
Yeah.
Like when we designed our chicken coop, we made a 8x4 off the ground, a little bit like your the shed that you designed for your goat. So it's high off the ground. It measures 8x4. We built it like a house, and then we used up a gazebo structure, and we didn't put chicken wire. We put the hardware cloth. Yeah. And then when it joined, we kind of weaved in a wire, so to make sure, because we thought we had predators here, but then it turns out the predators there's none here, but still. So like we kind of hodgepodge something so that the chickens can have like the secure area. But we had 9. If I had only 3, I could have designed something really, really, really small with hardware cloth, and I would be able to have the eggs in the notion that the animals would be safe.
Yeah. Well, that's like when we moved to this part of the property, where we were before, 0 predators, 0. And we had chickens for 2 years, and the only really cause of death was my daughter's dog got one, our very first one that died. Our daughter's dog was playing with it, and she got loose. She played with it, but unfortunately the play was a little bit of a puncture wound. So
Oops.
Yeah. And so after that, though, it was nothing. Like they all pretty much lived. We did have a rooster or 2 that hurt one of our girls, so they were no longer. But other than that, we had 0 predators, no issues. There were times when we forgot to lock the gate for the coop and nothing. And we moved literally 350 meters from that property, and now all of the chickens were gone from the fox. So
you were not in the territory of the fox before. Now you're dead center in.
Yeah, and where we are now, although it's still a country road, it's I guess there's a forest right across the street. And so where we had placed the chickens, it can have access to the chickens from 3 different angles. So we won't be putting the chickens there again when we get them. But it was a whole learning curve to this new property, and we've also had a bear on this property.
This summer?
Was it this summer? Yes. Because we were on this property. So no, not this summer, but when we first moved up, we were sitting, Mike had actually gone away to Michigan, and I was out front by myself by the top of the road with my neighbor, and her husband came to ask if we wanted anything from the store. And he goes, "You guys know that there's a bear 100 feet from you right now?" And we're like, no. And so, there was a bear about 100 feet sitting away. So we think we've heard him a couple times, but there's definitely more on this property, even though it's the same parcel of land. there's more action going on here than there was over on the other spot.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So Joanne says, surround yourself with things you like and you'll like what you're surrounded by. That's a good advice. I watch for the gardening.
Maybe
Gardening
next year you'll
next
see it.
year.
Oh.
Okay, that's not for me. That's not for me. Macy's probably gone. Stress can cause so many health issues. I'm a prime example. Knocking down the issues was like playing, I'm not sure how to pronounce this.
Whack-a-mole. Yeah.
What's a what?
Those games where the moles pop up and you have to slam them, like at a fair or something.
Yeah. I am drinking what I got left of beer. Had 60 when I left, and we only got our moose last night, so I'm about to run out. Oh no!
Remy, you should buy yourself some celebratory beer.
Actually, I told me he should make his own beer.
Uh-huh.
I think it was Dave that said he was brewing his own beer, and Marilyn might learn it this winter or next winter because it seems interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot your name, Carpenter Self-Reliance. I'm so sorry. Hi. Yes, Remy got a moose. 200 pounds of meat in his freezer. Did you fit it? Does it fit in your freezer? Does the door close?
Right.
Okay. I'm not sure what this means. I Alcatraz the hell out of my coop. Oh, I'm okay. Now I'm getting it.
Yeah.
So far, so good. But who knows? True. We never know. Never know. Okay. So Serge is also trying to do his own beer. Okay. So since Serge is near your place, like the two of you can do like a double batch and share the beer.
Mm-hmm. On the plus side, today, Mike and I went out to the apple tree that the entire property was built around. And I posted for our members, I posted a picture of this a little bit ago. But so the house originally was supposed to be placed different. I think we've talked about that.
Yes.
So then we had to kind of move the position of the house, and we still built the entire, when we first came to this blank land, we had one apple tree, and I'm like, that's going to be the focus of my home. We're going to place everything around it. Anyways, long story short, Mike and I went out, and there's still so many more apples on the tree, but we got a bushel of apples for free today from our tree. And that's the extent of our gardening this year a little bit. But well, we did plant some potatoes and some onions at a friend's place, so we're going to actually go get them soon. And then we have like some buckets that we had with stuff, mint and what was the other thing? Oh, lemon balm, mint, comfrey. So we're going to be doing some of that stuff. But that's the extent of my gardening this year. But we were so happy. And then all along the ground where the apple tree is baby apple trees. And
amazing.
So,
that's a blessing.
Yeah, we're very, very excited about that because now today we planned out our entire where our orchard's going to be, and it's going to be a pathway to lead into the garden. And so yes, that will get done next year.
That's like a romantic walk in the orchard and then the garden.
When it's done, I actually saw it today. We went out to the apple tree and we're like, imagine this all cleaned up. So I kind of pictured it. It is going to be beautiful when it's done. And so that we need those little moments too. But yeah, that it will be very beautiful when it's all done.
I'm sure. Well, it is already beautiful. They're like, if you don't pay attention to the debris.
Yeah. And all the sticks and logs. We have I don't even know. Well, I know why we ordered a tandem load of wood. We ordered it because we need hardwood. And so we have so many log piles. If anybody needs campfire wood or, some offset of, they have all hardwood and they need some poplar, you are more than welcome to come and take it.
Sadly, I can't because I don't have a. I would love. I'm like the the weirdo. I have a gas stove to
Mhm.
heat my house, and like we use maybe 30 to 40% of that, and then no, it's the contrary. Well, it depends. I every year I go with which one's more expensive, and if it's hydro that's more expensive, we will heat with the gas and just maintain the house with the
Yeah.
hydro, and vice versa. So normally I set my controls to 13 to 14 degrees Celsius, and then the gas stove would complete.
Mhm.
And if I have to make the change, if the gas goes higher, well then I'll make the switch. But I would love to remove that gas stove and put a wood burning stove. I would love it. I
Mhm.
know I can. There's a conversion kit. I can do it. I think where it is, it's safe, but I'm so scared that a law is gonna pass and then I'm gonna have to convert again, because on the island of Montreal, you're no longer allowed to have a wood burning stove
What?
unless you have a special filter
Okay.
installed. I'm not sure if the law is passed officially, but I
Mhm.
remember my dad like being so angry because his main heat at the house is the wood burning stove, and he's like, I have to get this thing installed, but it's like super super expensive. So I'm not even sure if he still uses his wood burning stove.
Mhm.
So
I know with us building the house, we still have to put in some kind of air exchange. It's I can't remember what Mike said it was. It's a piece that circulates, so it's an electrical piece that circulates air. We have to put that in and we have to put airflow in, even though we're not having a furnace at all. And we have to put this in with a wood burning stove. Whether you have wood burning or not, you still have to put it in. And so we
because
were
of insurance or code.
code.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't have one here because it's a century old home. We open the windows all the time, but in the condo, it was included in my air conditioning module. It was
Hmm.
just like a piece that was attached to it, and it does make a difference if you're a person that has a lot of allergies.
Hmm.
That well, obviously you have to wash the filters. That's like if you want it to
Yeah.
work.
Right.
And like it was always making the air more comfortable. The house I had after that, I had a wood burning stove. There was none. And then when it was very, very humid, the air was different. So it's something to have if you can. But if it's by code now, well, I guess
It's
there's
a have to. It's something bigger than what I'm saying. Mike knows all the technical stuff to it, but like if you have a furnace, you have to have this piece. And even people that like they think it's silly because it's electrical, and we intend one day, we're on hydro now, but maybe one day we're going to have solar. And so there was that piece, but I can't remember what piece it was, but we had to actually put in an air exchange. And then there has to be something motorized in this air exchange. And so, like, we had planned to put old style vents in the ground, just, kind of airflow. Um, Maggie, don't. But yeah, so we have to still, in order to complete our house, we have to do that to make it to code. And it's, yeah,
got to love the code.
yeah, lots of stuff for the code. Hi, baby.
Okay, so let me catch up a little bit. One more
Maggie, I think
reason
you
to
want,
grow hop
come here.
on your okay, that's not for me. I didn't get the meat yet. Brought it to the butcher tonight, and my third freezer is supposed to arrive either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Come on,
Look at you getting more freezers.
Maggie, come. Come on.
I have.
Ooh, here's Miss Maggie.
Hello, Maggie.
Hello, baby. Hi.
Yes.
You go.
Wood burning feel. Yes, there's a feeling about wood burning stove. There's a feeling.
I
I
miss
can't explain
mine.
it. I can't explain it. I remember in 1998 when we lost power for many, many days. I think it was a total of 4 or 6 days.
Mhm.
Like it keeps you warm. You can cook on it. You can bake on it with a what do you call it? Dutch oven.
Yeah.
Like you still like have to tweak a little bit, like you have to gauge, but you can cook bread
Yeah.
in the Dutch oven. And like there's so many things that are useful. And the smell of burning wood, they just and then the warm feeling on your cheek.
I'm
And
not cold. Like I always found too with a furnace or with propane or gas or whatever, I was always chilled a little bit, you know? And hello. With wood burning stove, I when we first moved to the cabin, we were literally city folk moving to an off-grid cabin, no other stove, and we had the wood burning stove that we did. And at first, I mean, I loved the idea of it, but I didn't know it, and I wasn't used to it. And then when we moved here and we didn't have any kind of wood burning stove at first, I miss it and I am so stinking excited to get it back. I don't want a regular stove. I want to cook in my oven, my wood burning oven. The one we're getting, it's going to be connected to a water tank upstairs. And so all our hot water, our heat for the home and cooking, all of it's going to be done on that. We are going to have a propane stove top on the counter just for summertime. And then we have other forms of cooking as well, but I cannot wait. That is like, screw the
come
house.
on, come on, come on.
I want that damn stove back. We have the cook stove here now, or the wood stove, and it's great, but I can't cook in it.
No, but you can cook on it, which is
We do. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm cooking a roast on my wood cook stove. Oh my god.
I don't know what it is. Everything tasted so much better. You could cook on the platform I had. I can't even show you on the screen. It was, 3-4 feet wide. I could cook on the entire surface of it, have like stuff in the oven, buns warming in the warming oven, and cook bacon, eggs, everything, you name it, on my stovetop.
Okay, you got me a bacon.
Yeah. Turkey bacon for me, but
It's
but
bacon. It's bacon. Bacon is bacon.
bacon is bacon. I miss it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's obligated thing with the new house is the air circulator. It changed my life when I installed it.
Hopefully for the better.
How is Bubba?
The older, he's still here. He's still blind and deaf. His nose is amazing, so his nose works really well. But he's still with us. He'll be 17 in December.
Little dogs have a tendency of living long. My previous dog, I don't think she was on any of my videos. Her name was Oli. She was such a good dog. She passed away, I think she was 18 or 17. She was the most adorable, loving. She only slept at the end, but like
That's what he's doing.
Like at sometimes during the winter, like they're so small. I didn't cut her not her fur, but she had like more like hair.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes like if I didn't put my glasses on, I had to be careful because like she looked like a rug.
Yeah, it's gonna sound horrible, but it's not meant to be this way. This dog almost has a life story of our last year, and we tease, and it's gonna sound so bad, but he's the dog that won't die. He's had so many things where he shouldn't be here with us anymore, and he's just the dog that maybe we should change the wording. He's the dog that just never gives in.
Wants to live. He wants to live.
He's not doing much of that. I mean, he sleeps a lot. But man, if you were to like start chopping up some food and he smells it, he looks like he's 3. He's like up and can't see it. He can't hear you, but he can smell it.
Yep. Ali used to do that. At the house we used to rent before moving here. We would crack up the wood burning stove because it was in the basement and like the air like goes up. And as soon as she would hear my husband Fred start the fire, she would be like almost in it. She was almost in the stove.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things I think she missed the most because when we moved here, I think she was 13 or 14 years old, around like in the last period of her time. And I think she missed that because the wood burning stove helped a lot with her rheumatis, what do you call that? Arthritis.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that. Like, we had a gas stove, but it didn't heat as much.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she was like, not, well, she obviously was enjoying herself, but not as much as the wood burning stove. But she was almost in it. Like, her fur was like super, super warm.
Mm-hmm. Our cats will do that. They'll sit in the chair in front of the fire and just lay there. And I'm like, how are you not 200 degrees right now?
Oh, here is something for you. I ran my air exchanger, 125 watts, easy peasy, nothing to worry. So
There's that, and if I'm not mistaken, there's something else that we have to build into, because we have to build it into the wall somehow. And then there's the air exchanger. It's almost like this venting system. I think that's what it was, this venting system, because we're like, we're not going to have vents, but we have to. I'll have to ask Mike and figure it out. But we were like, what? Why? Why do we need a venting system? But there's something additional on top of the air exchanger. The air exchanger, I wouldn't really have a problem with. But what somebody actually told us was, yeah, people just put it in for code and then they just leave it and they unplug it. They just put it there for code and then they unplug it. But there was something additional too that we have to do. I'll have to ask him.
So the entire live was about adapting to change.
Yeah.
So this year, you were kind of slapped left and right all year. Well, not all year, from, I would say, like from the storm to like about a month ago.
Yeah.
And like every single time, like you were in a crunch, you had to make a decision. Now that all of this is done, what would you say was the, like, what did you learn from all of this?
Well, first of all, to not put so much pressure on ourselves. It's going to get done. It's just a matter of when. And so when you, instead of trying to, I guess that's going to be the thing I say, is not to put so much pressure. I had all these like, no, but it's not getting done. And then that would, I have that feeling, and then I'd have the disappointment feeling, and then I'd have the guilt feeling. And I know I shouldn't do that, but I got caught up in it. And so I have to remind myself, we're taking on a lot. It's a huge thing as to what we're doing. And for the year that we did a lot of stuff, we didn't have jobs. We weren't in school. We were able to build. So realizing that Rome wasn't built in a day, and it's going to be the same thing here. And then, as long as we're pursuing and keeping going, it will get done. And just don't put all this pressure on us that doesn't need to be there. I think that was the biggest lesson. And, letting go and realizing we'll have our home. It's just next year.
And were you sad? Did you go through sadness?
Yeah. Before we made the decision not to do it. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I went through a lot of sadness and all of the not good feelings. And then realize, I'm not going to say it was depression, but it was something. And it was, because I'm always like, if I'm not accomplishing something, it can be the littlest thing. And so if I'm not accomplishing something, I don't feel good. And it's not that I don't feel good enough, it's I don't feel good. So I need to stop. All of these pressures that I put on myself was actually preventing me from doing and going forward. And so by letting go and accepting and realizing, we're actually getting a lot more done now on the 1 to 2 day time frame that we have before I started working and Mike going back to school. When we actually let it go, more stuff got done. But yes, I did go through sadness before we made the choice. Once we made the choice, it was like, okay, I'm alive, I can breathe. Right? So
Dave.
well, it wasn't even a video that got views. That's a video of what not to do. It was the storm video. Man, that one took off.
And you got mixed comments on that as well.
That's okay. That's okay.
But it was an event.
Hmm. I actually had the weather. Okay, so it's the Weather Network in Canada or the Weather.
Météo Média.
Um, whatever it is in Canada, they have a different. I think it's the Weather Network in Canada and the Weather Channel in the States. The Weather Channel in the States reached out to us and said they wanted to use it for a piece of one of their TV shows. Uh, Storms Gone Viral.
Mm-hmm.
And so they want to use it. So I'm in the talks with them now, and they want to use it, but I don't know if I'm going to 100% right now because yeah, I've seen some of their clips and there's a great show, but there's also some mocking going on. So I'm like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the mocking, no, obviously not.
But you know what that video taught me about the storm? I don't care anymore. Like 2 years ago, all those comments would have just like, what am I doing on YouTube? I don't care. I just I I know what feelings I was having during the storm, and I know that there was some of me that was afraid, but that video really taught me because I always wondered, what is it going to be like if we ever did, have a video that went crazy? And then obviously with that, you're going to have trolls that come along.
Yeah.
And I always wondered, what am I going to think? How am I going to take it? I don't care. That shocked me. I was like, and then I had one of Mike's friends who's a meteorologist go in, and he all on his own decided to go in and like fight back with some of these people. And I was like, you go. It was awesome. But I was very, very shocked by that. I didn't care what people said. And
I'm starting to have some comments. They're not mean. They're not nice, but they're like dancing like very close to mean. And like I send pictures to Annie and Remy. I'm like, what do I respond to this? Like, because you're supposed to respond, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like, do you want me to respond? I'm like, no, like I will respond, but like, I'm like, what do we do? Like, it's stupid. Some of these comments are like, seriously, like we're gonna have this conversation. Like, if you didn't like it, just like don't watch it, or like
Right.
ruin the analytics for my video. Just like quit, X, get out, next.
Yep.
But they feel the need to like bash you, and like some of them don't even realize how much time it takes for you to actually bring up this video. Maybe not a live event, but like, let's just say, and I keep telling this to people because, I have an English and French channel. And the most interesting comment I get on my French channel is like, we wished you had more videos coming out. Like, your English is your priority, but we would like to have more videos in French. So they don't know that a 7-minute video is like maybe 3-5 hours, maybe 10 hours total of time. So, and then like I always try to make it like shorter videos on my French when I do it, because like it's so time consuming. I have the entire homestead to deal with. I have so much to like preserve, take care of the animals, the house, the kids, blah, 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 the homework and everything. And when I get those comments, I'm like, you really have no idea how long it takes for us to actually bring this to you guys. And at the moment, I'm not monetized. So.
Right. And that's what people don't understand. And whenever like when my teenagers or when my kids were teenagers, I remember one in particular argument where this is gonna sound bad again, but I remember one argument in particular. One of our daughters liked Justin Bieber. And my son just went off on my daughter, sibling rivalry, and, oh, Justin Bieber and blah, 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 and like totally mocking her for liking Justin Bieber. And I just looked at him and I'm like, and what are you doing? Like, like why are you mocking him? You may not like him, that's fine, you don't have to, but what I kind of threw his own medicine back at him, and I'm like, but what are you doing?
You're making it even worse.
Yeah, like not only that, but like if you're talking about a celebrity and you don't like him, the reasons why he didn't like him, he was being a smartass, and so he was just trying to tease his sister. So I turned around and I'm like, and it's gonna sound so bad, but what have you accomplished? Like, you don't go out there, you don't put yourself out there. Not accomplish, that's not the right word. You don't put yourself out there, you don't understand. You may not like him, but at the same time he's doing a lot for his age, and so I kind of threw it back on him.
Well, it's reverse psychology.
Yeah,
the fact that he doesn't like you said Justin Bieber, right?
Yeah, it was either that or Jonas Brothers. I can't.
It doesn't matter. The fact that he does not enjoy lyrics or an actual group or whoever about a song, what does it give him to make someone feel bad for enjoying music?
And that's what I was kind of like, well, if you want to be that way, what have you accomplished? You're making fun of somebody, you know what I mean? And it did. It threw him for a loop. He was like, what? I can't believe my mom said that to me. And it's like, it's not to say that you're not good. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is and I guess the whole bottom line is people don't understand the work that does go into a video, the time that does go into a video. And they're so easily just like, oh, you're over dramatic much. Like, that's what I got a lot of on that Storm video. And, oh, I'd hate to be your wife or your husband or so. I had that. I had somebody else actually start accusing me of, what was it? I guess they had gone into our channel and they had looked to see what we're about. And in my video, if you're not a subscriber, it has the kids saying, this is my Tyler and Parker. This is my grandma. Her name's Angie. And basically it's this whole thing about how we're trying to build this place for their future, right? And so then they turn around, this person commented, and this is the only one that did get to me. You say you're building a better future for your grandchildren and all you're doing is deforesting. And I'm like, the storm took out more trees than we did.
Okay. To build a home. Okay, wait. To build a home, you need wood. So instead of buying wood or whatever, like, you can use lumber from your land to build your home, and you need to remove trees to build your home. And then if she really, like, if the hamster
thought about it,
you did say that you want to build an orchard. So let's just say that you tear down 100 trees, you're maybe gonna plant 50.
Yeah. Well, I think actually this was one of Mike's friends that went on there, and how many trees were taken out for where you're living? Like, your place was once a forest too. And so I'm like, it didn't get to me because of the deforesting, because I know whether or not I'm taking it down, you should see 5 kilometers from here towards this private beach. It's insane the amount of logging that takes place. But at the same time, they're doing it responsibly where all these trees, this storm was perfect proof. All of our trees were very young. They all tried to grow up really quick. They were all competing for light. And guess what happened? They all went boom, because they weren't strong. They weren't sturdy. And so that's what, we're keeping a lot of the trees on the property, but for about an acre, maybe even less, we want to have, proper homestead land. Right. And so it was just, it wasn't it was the kids, because when anybody, says something
about your kids, it's the mama bear in you goes,
none of y'all ever seen that, Angie. And
I think if ever someone like says anything about my kids, I think that mama bear style is gonna get
yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so Dave says, thanks for sharing. Yes, it does take time to share, and I don't do it for monetization. I hope no one did get that. I do it to share the knowledge, because when I started, I had zero zero no like knowledge, and now everything I'm learning, I feel that sharing it with others is the way to go. But like for me, this has become a job, a
Yeah.
non-paying job at the moment.
Soon.
But
Soon.
so soon, I'm really close, really close. I'm hoping, I'm crossing fingers. I don't know if it's you or Darren. I think it was December 31st of
Yes, both of us.
yes, I do hope by December 31st this year it is my
Oh,
time
you'll
to
get it.
shine. I hope
You'll get it.
so. I'm 225 subs away
Yeah, you'll get it.
and 1,000 something hours away. But there's still time. Dave, are you planning on building a channel? You do have a lot to share.
You do.
It is what I don't like about the how-to YouTube videos. They are big viral, doing a video a day and telling us work harder on your videos. I stopped doing how-tos because it was killing me so much, and now I kind of find that some people want it. So at first it hurts the analytics as soon as it's launched, but then years after or months after they get picked up.
Yeah.
So
I have two videos that around August really start picking up. They're one of our most popular ones, and it's how to plow with an ATV and our pros and cons of the ATV. So always around August, it starts picking up, and they come around. And I'm finding too, like, because I went through a couple trials where when it comes to YouTube, obviously not right now, but I did 2 weeks of a video, like I think I did 4 videos a week. My views tanked. I started doing 2 videos a week and they did really good. And then I did 1 video a week and they did really well. So if you go back and even look at some of my views back all the way to when I'm going to say April, my views were, 100, 200, and it's even less in some of them. And then when I started doing one a week, they really went up. They really, really went up. So I think that's our 1 to 2 is our sweet spot.
yeah, I'm actually going down to a live and then 1 or 2 videos.
Yeah, we want to start doing lives again. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but it'll be in the next few weeks where we're going to start doing Monday night lives again. That person was an a-hole. Some of the people are just out there doing that.
Thank you for your friends. Wait, thank
Oh,
you
you have
for
to
your...
read the comment below it.
Wait.
He meant friendship.
Okay, I have to be careful because I almost ran up. No, I mean the vidIQ and TubeBuddy telling us. Yes, well, here's the thing. I don't use vidIQ. I use the other one, TubeBuddy.
Yeah.
And I followed so many YouTubers that specialize in, growing your channel.
Mhm.
Here's the thing, and I think I had that conversation with Remy. We are homesteaders, so we move with the season, we move with the change, and
Mhm.
our life is raw. So,
Mhm.
like, we don't decide one day, oh, let's build a chicken coop. No, like, we decide to build a chicken coop because we have the need to build a chicken
Right.
coop. So, in a year, in the winter, our content is not the same thing as the spring, and
Yes.
then in the fall, and then like it's a rotating content. So those videos that are teaching us how to build a YouTube channel to grow are for channels that is a specific niche and a specific subject with some little like side subjects. If you only have like, let's just say, preserving, like a preserving channel, the only thing you do is about preserving,
Right.
you can go with those tutorials because it's going to help you out. But since we're homesteaders, our subjects are always different. Like we have
Yeah.
to adapt, and like we punch ourselves with the analytics, but that's what we are. And that's one of the things I have let go.
Yeah, one of the things that I realized too, and I think I discovered this back in this late spring, early summer, the whole reason we started our channel was so that Like my grandparents did kind of like what we're doing, but they were much younger, and they built their house. And I literally would have paid anything to see my grandfather when he was, 20, building a house. And the stories that I listened to my grandparents talking about, well, my grandma is only alive now, but when I listened to their stories, and you know, I wish I could see it. I wish I could have
Yes.
watched,
Yeah.
and so that's the whole reason why I started doing YouTube. And then when I was like, okay, well, I want to grow, but I don't want to just grow for the viewers. I want to grow, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically I did it for the kids. And so how can I combine? That's where I was going. How can I combine wanting to still grow, but wanting to keep the kids and the grandkids as the front priority?
Yeah, but you're
So,
journaling. You're
yeah,
journaling for the future. Like you
yes,
want, obviously the younger kids will maybe have some memories, but later on they will have this
yeah,
journal of you two building a home, building in the trial, the errors, the
yes,
emotions, and it's our grandparents used to do picture
yes,
albums.
yeah,
So instead of being a picture albums, you're doing
yes.
a cinematic version, and you're actually sharing a bit of yourself. So they'll be able to learn and learn who you are, learn who Mike is, and it's
That
going
is,
to stay.
yeah. And when I started doing that, I mean, I do have to get more. I don't want it to just be like you were saying, oh, we have to do these 4 videos a week, and we have to, if one week I feel like doing 4 videos, then that's what I'll do. But I do want to keep some stability of 1 video a week. But I want to keep that goal of it's for the grandkids. And so when I started turning the videos more into like a journal style instead of, other ways that other people do, that's where I felt comfortable. That's where also my channel started to grow. And so that's what I think I'm going to stick with is the whole, I mean, there's going to be sometimes we don't, but the whole journal style, grandma talking in the beginning, grandma talking at the end, and putting the views kind of, some of the things that we're doing so they can see real life the way we lived it.
Hmm.
So,
So you're showing your like the true colors and you're feeling in your
yeah.
place.
Because another thing too that I wanted to incorporate for them, I used to do my videos for the viewers. After like when I started growing, I was initially doing it for the grandkids, and then I started growing, and then what can I do for the viewers? What can I do? I want to, and I kept the business aspect, and some people work great for that. I don't. And so how can I find the common ground? I have more of a romantic mind than a lot of people. So when I see the trees blowing, I see something in that, and I romanticize a lot of it, and things naturally come to me that I want people to see or the grandkids to see. And so I'm trying to incorporate all of that, and it's so much less pressure when I make a video for the grandkids instead of the viewers. But in turn, I'm getting more views without, putting all that stress on me too.
Yeah, well, sometimes that's what I was doing. I was always like focusing on the business, and I'm like really not business. Like I
Yeah.
am an emotional person. I was told I am too emotional, and exactly like Marilyn is saying, I prefer doing vlogging, a little bit of how to, and image, music, sound, so
Yeah.
that when I watch a video and there's a bird and the person is filming a bird, there's emotion with the music, and then the vlogger like switch to like lower grounds, higher grounds, and then like you get like a 3D version and all of that within 30 seconds. And the view, like as a viewer, I feel it, like there's so much emotion, and I try to replicate it in my videos, and that's how I feel natural. And when I was not natural, it was mechanic, and I found myself like redoing takes all the time. I was like, not smiling, and then like being overcritic, and then being cranky, and then like it was not all nice. And then I ended up publishing it because I'm sure most of the viewers did not see the aggravation behind my face, but I find that being ourselves, it makes it way easier
Yeah.
on our time schedule.
We had one video. Poor Mike. So I had gotten, you know how you said you were frustrated, you're doing all these takes. So there was one video, and I think it was only the one. I hope I was only an asshole for the one. Excuse my French. Oh, I shouldn't say that, but
I am French. Be careful.
I know. I said that. I used to say it all the time, and then I said it in the video, and I had so many people come down on me, and I don't mean it to be derogatory.
No, it's an expression.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah. So, anyways, what was I saying? Oh, there was one video in particular where it was we were building a goat stand for milking.
I don't think I saw that one.
It's a couple, maybe 3 years old. I guess.
Okay, I didn't know you at the time.
Yeah. So long story short, I was like, no, we have to. I watched all these videos that it should look like, and what was missing from that video that I can add to mine to make it interesting. And so I was in that like mechanical type of mindset, and Mike kept messing up. I was so mad, and I'm like, no, that's not the way we're gonna say it. We got to do it over again. Now you got to unscrew it. You got to do this. You got to do. And he forgave me. Poor Mike. And then like, he's like, why are we doing YouTube if this is how it's gonna be? But it was a bad day in combination with trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah. I don't normally film with Fred because he always says bad jokes, and he's always sarcastic because like he kind of feels weird. He hates the camera. Like he hates being filmed. So when I film him, that's why it's always the side of his face or his back, because when I film him from the front, he keeps saying stupid shit. I have to like to ask him like nicely, like try to because I have to edit, like I have to cut it, and like you see the lips moving. So
there are so many. Some of them I let slide through. Mike is very sarcastic, and some of them I'm like, as long as the grandkids can hear it, I don't care. But there's some things that he says that I have to mute it. I have to take it out. But I stopped getting mad. There was only a short time where I was actually like, because it almost felt like he was doing it on purpose at that time in our lives. Like he was just purposely trying to make me mad. But yeah, all of that's gone now, and I'm just like, well, I can always edit it out.
Yeah, I wish I had someone to hold the camera, but mostly when I film, I'm always alone. So I can only fight with my arm holding the camera. I'm just going to catch up on some of the messages. You're doing great. I have to catch up on your videos, but you are doing great, Marilyn.
I have to catch up on everybody's videos.
I don't teach much, but someone like my future grandkids that started watching me from the start could see where I started and how true.
That's exactly. I wanted when we thought of the grandkids, the whole idea was A, that they can see their grandparents, and B, so that if they put their mind to something, they can see how we started and how we finished. Because they're going to have memories of, like the place being done. They're not going to see where we started from. And so that was the whole goal with them. Mike is awesome. He is.
He is.
He wasn't awesome back then for a small period of time.
Well, I'm happy to have you tonight, but I have to go.
Yes,
it is 7:30. I can't wait for my office to be finished. One day I will have an office, and I won't have, like I keep saying this every week, I will have more time.
Yes.
But thank you everyone for chatting. Yes. I hope I didn't miss any comments. Like I'm having so many issues with the comments every week. Round table. I don't know if you guys are going to do it.
I'm hoping they will.
I know that Lynn wants to do another version of She-Steaders.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I think she said late September, early. I can't remember what she said, but she did say she wants to do another version of it.
Okay.
Yeah. my boyfriend is the cook. So when I do a cooking video, he almost always around, but don't want to be in the video. So when you see hairy hand, well, I kind of figured like you have delicate hands, Marilyn. So when I saw fatter fingers, I made a 1+1, but it was your hubby that was there. Mike is the next for roundtable, so it's all up to him.
I did not. Now he's in trouble. Thanks, Remy.
Someone's getting it tonight. So thanks again, everyone, for popping in, and I hope everyone has a fantastic week. I will share next week what I've been working on. I've been redesigning my pantry, reorganizing everything, and I'll have lots to talk about. So take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.